Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. In 1992, Paul Schrader gave us an American crime drama film that was entitled Light Sleeper. The production included William Dafoe, Susan Sarandon, and Dana Delany. The storyline goes that in New York City, John Latour is the third member of a high-end drug-dealing business. Anne is the boss, and her gay associate Robert, who does most of the office work, while John handles most of the deliveries to their clients, who expect discretion at all cost. John's life consists solely of his work, whatever social time being with Anne and Robert, or with those clients, whenever they may just want someone to hang out with while he is making his deliveries. Although he no longer does drugs himself and sees most of his clients as being indistinguishable from each other, he has no real personal relation with them. While she has brought this up before, John believes Anne is serious this time about getting out of the business and switching over full-time to her newly emerging cosmetics business, which she has asked Robert to join her, but not him. This being said, John is considering what his next move and what his future would hold. He's already feeling a bit lost in his life, making him resort to visit a psychic that he knows named Teresa to give him some answers. It's at this time that John runs into his old girlfriend, Mary Ann, who had moved out of town after their breakup. A former junkie, Mary Ann has cleaned herself up and been that way for 4 years now. Although John would love to get back together with her, and he still feels strongly in love with her, she sees him as a source of whatever troubles that she had had in her past, regardless of the underlying passion that still exists between the two. It's also at this time that John notices a man following him. He believes this said man to be a narc. He isn't quite who John believes, but he factors into what John decides to do with his uncertain future, especially concerning both Anne and Mary Ann. The writer and director Schrader has described the film as A Man and His Room, a story that's like American Gigolo, and his most famous screenplay, which became the basis of Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver. In this movie, the character is dealing with anxiety over his life and the external forces that threaten it. Light Sleeper captures an imprisoned hero who is shown considering a new and hopeful better existence. The film was still in the process of fundraising when production began, so Schrader financed the first 3 weeks of production using his own money. And it was the first artistic collaboration of William Dafoe and Paul Schrader, who had met during the filming of Martin Scorsese's The Last Temptation of Christ. The two later collaborated on the 1997 film Affliction, Autofocus from 2002, Walker from 2007, and 3 other more recent films. The director originally intended to use the songs from Bob Dylan's album Empire Burlesque, but Schrader and Dylan could not agree on which songs to use, and Schrader decided to use songs by Michael Biehn instead. The director, Schrader, experienced a real unique problem while filming was underway in New York City. The movie is set during a sanitation worker strike, which called for a large amount of uncollected trash to be prominently featured in the exterior scenes. But since the real New York Sanitation Department was very much on their job, they would inadvertently collect trash that was meant to be part of that day's film production design, causing the production design people to have to re-dirty up the streets before filming was shot. When questioned about what the film's title meant, William Dafoe often joked that the two other films in Paul Schrader's trilogy of loners were titled after the key character's occupation, that being American Gigolo and then Taxi Driver. He jokingly said that Schrader thought that no one would watch a film if it was just called Drug Dealer. And this production does close out Schrader's trilogy of films that are about loners who hate their jobs. Before filming began, he sent William Dafoe out to observe real drug dealers as a way of training for this role. Schrader even asked him afterwards if anyone recognized him, and Dafoe said that he believed that some did, but they were afraid to say anything for fear that they wouldn't get their drugs if they did. The movie premiered at the Berlin International Film Festival in February of '92 and was released in the U.S. August 21st that same year, earning $1 million at the box office. But even though it wasn't a grand box office hit, it gained mostly positive reviews and received various nominations for the work done in it. Roger Ebert wrote that Schrader knows the world of insomnia, the world of craving and addiction, and he also knows all about people living in a cocoon of themselves. Now, this movie is Dana Delany's first on-screen nudity that she'd ever done, and she's often stated that she never had an issue with being nude in front of people. In fact, she was fully nude on stage in the play Equus in the early 1980s. Thousands of people saw her naked in that role during the run of the show, including her own father. After that happening, nudity never bothered her. She was completely relaxed with it. Her father even praised her performance, saying that it was pretty amazing seeing his daughter on stage and thinking that she was absolutely beautiful. At that point, she knew that he was proud of her. She decided then that she was a grown-up, and after this happening, she felt like she was completely liberated about walking around naked or half-dressed and not really caring what people think. And it was doing this play in front of her father that gave her this feeling. Go back and take a look at this 1992 gritty neo-noir film that stars William Dafoe battling a midlife crisis before becoming embroiled in tragic events following the chance encounter with his former girlfriend. While it did underperform at the box office, the critics loved it, and I think you might enjoy it also. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.